Good evening. This is the Board of Trustees regular meeting. The date is January 27th, 2015. It's 7:30 p.m. on the dot. This is meeting number 2015-02. Clerk Quinlan, can you please take the roll?
Sure. President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Carberry?
Here.
Trustee Vorder?
Here.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Here.
Trustee Olenichuk?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance, item 2 on our agenda. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comments is item 3 on our agenda. We have one resident who'd like to make a comment this evening, John Velikakis, regarding progressive energy, or aggregation. Aggregation. How are you?
Okay.
And are you an Oak Lawn resident, sir?
Yes, I'm John Velikakis, 9810 South Marion, Oak Lawn
Thank you.
for 40 years plus, and other places in Oak Lawn for another 10 years. So, anyway, my comment starts. First item I want to talk about is the aggregate program that I guess is probably approved tonight. We're switching aggregate carriers, which lowers your utility bills. So my question to the board is, last time we did the original aggregate, was it 2 years ago? Right after that, the next meeting or so, they raised our utility tax. So they gave us a credit here, $10, $15, which we're probably going to get now again, they're telling us. But then, on the other hand, they raised our utility tax right after that. So I'm just asking, are we to expect another utility tax increase? What happens there, of course, is, yeah, you save $10, $15 here, but now you're paying higher utility tax. Well, that doesn't go away. As utilities keep going up and up, that utility tax keeps costing you more and more because it's based on your bill. So I'm just curious, are we going to see another one of those, utility tax increase? The other item I want to talk about was this property on the Southwest Highway, and it's not just the property on Southwest Highway I want to talk about. Right after our village president took office, I asked her, they had just done away with that parking lot to south of the village hall, and we lost a very nice asset there. It turned into a bank, which doesn't generate retail sales and all that. They want to convert this property on Southwest Highway. They're talking about, it'd be nice to get another medical facility in there, which don't really generate much of any kind of sales taxes for the village. So what we're doing is we're selling assets, and we're not really getting much out of it, okay? The way I look at it, and what I'm seeing happen, and other villages do it too, is you sell your assets to make your budget. Well, that's what I asked the president when she took office was, what other assets are we going to have to sell down the road to make our budget? I was told we're not selling any assets. We're not doing that. Well, I think if you look at the history, I think that is kind of what's going on. Now, part of the problem with that, a big part of the problem with that is that as you sell your assets, just like on your own lives, what happens when you go for financing? They look at your worth. If your village is losing more and more assets, your bond rating goes down, and therefore your interest rate goes up. And that's kind of bad right now, especially when we still have like about half that huge water project, and who knows what other projects will come down the pike. But that huge water project we have is barely half financed. So the bonding for that, if we sell more assets and they go for bonding and they lower our bond rating again, then our interest rates are going to be higher, and that water project, along with any other projects we had bonding for, will cost us more if they so do that, lower our bond rating. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple points. The asset sale on the 95th Street you were talking about where the bank is, that was a prior board, sir. The construction just happened to take over when we took office. Correct. And then you talk about bond rating, and assets are a small portion of that. The majority of the reason our downgrades have been occurring the last several years is the pension debt, which hasn't been funded historically for at least a decade, and the overall municipal debt. So, Larry, I don't know if you wanted to talk about anything, any other?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Just briefly for the gentleman. Number one, bond rating is going to look at your number one stat, and you can Google and you can look on it, whether you're Moody's or whether you're S&P. They look at the assessed valuation per capita. And you'll see in their rating, and actually S&P upgraded Oak Lawn recently, that rating actually states that Oak Lawn's assessed valuation per capita is strong. Now, selling assets that are not on your assessed valuation, your tax base, because they're publicly owned and tax exempt, is a good thing to get them on the tax roll. And this board's always strived to get a good mix, bring in retail. You're correct, retail sales are very, very important in Illinois to a home rule community like Oak Lawn. But not every site is going to be conducive to that type of use. And one of the biggest positives we've talked about up here is our hospital, the growth of the hospital, and the number of medical facilities, the positions that they employ, and the salary, the wages in that healthcare industry are much stronger than they would be in the retail industry. So there are trade-offs. It's a positive thing. Regarding utility tax, this board did not increase the utility tax. We discussed it in the budget session, sir, and the administration presented a benchmark chart showing that our utility tax actually was one of the lowest of those municipalities in Illinois that levy a utility tax. Oak Lawn's, I think, second to the lowest out of about 200 municipalities in Illinois, home rule communities. So we did look at it, but decided not to make that increase. And therefore, Arnie will report tonight in a little bit, Progressive Energy, who services the village, what the overall statistics are on the savings for a average household in Oak Lawn since we embarked on this program 2 years ago and fixed the lower rate at 5.11 in change kilowatt hours as opposed to the 8 cents in change that ComEd was at when the voters voted and recommended that we embark on this course. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Larry. So we're moving on the agenda. We have item 4. This is a conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? And hearing none, we're going to move on to item 5. Would John and Megan Quinlan please come to the podium? I understand you are here to talk about the MS Walk.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank
Thank you
you.
to the board. My name's John Quinlan. I'm here with my wife, Megan. We're running this year's MS Walk here in Oak Lawn. This is the 8th year for the MS Walk in Oak Lawn. This year it's going to be held on Sunday, May 3rd. We're here to seek the village approval for this year. It's going to be at Richards High School at 106th and Central. Starts at 7:30 to register, and then 9 a.m. is when the walk starts. It's always the first Sunday in May for future years as well, but I'll be here doing this continually. Last year we had over 350 participants at Richards. Tremendous success. Finally cracked the $50,000 mark in terms of funds raised in 1 year. So another success, another year-over-year growth for the walk. WalkMSIllinois.org is the website that folks can go to for information about the walk. We have a local email address set up, which is all on the site. So again, that website's WalkMSIllinois.org. With that, I'll ask the board for approval for this year's MS Walk.
Okay. Very good. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded, properly moved by trustee Olenichek, seconded by trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Let's take the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And thanks for all the good work you do with that. We really, really appreciate it. And best of luck. Item 6 tonight is the Safely Home Program. Police Chief Mike Murray, would you like to come to the podium, sir? I'm so excited about this.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll indulge me for just a few minutes, I'd like to introduce a new program that the Police Department is sponsoring and facilitating. The name of the program is Safely Home. Over the years, officers have responded to missing person calls where a family member who has been diagnosed with some type of cognitive challenge, whether that be dementia, Alzheimer's, or autism, we get those calls, and those people have wandered away from home. It's an unsafe situation in any environment, but particularly if there's extreme weather involved. Often these individuals are not able to communicate where they live or how to contact a family member or a caregiver Critical time can be lost while officers are responding to the call, retrieving information, going back to the station, making copies of pictures, and then disseminating that information. So in an effort to help reunite these individuals with their families as safely and quickly as possible, we've developed the Oak Lawn Safely Home program. If you are a family member, or if you have a family member who has one of these conditions and may benefit from this program, we would like you to register their information, their caregiver information, and a photo with the police department. The program is voluntary. There's no cost to the family. Those who participate need only register once, and then every year update that information. Essentially what this is you provide us information about your loved one with a picture, and that information gets entered into our system, which is readily available in the squad cars. So if we get that phone call, God forbid that ever happens, but if we get that phone call, officers will have that information in their squad cars at the press of a button. And that will certainly help speed us up. And if we were ever to have contact with somebody who is in distress or is away from the home, and we have that knowledge that that person may be in our system, we can search that area for a possibility and possibly speed up that connection process, reunification process with the family. The program officially kicks off tomorrow, but we're making the announcement today. The forms to be filled out are on the village website. They're under the police department and then community programs, and then underneath that tab is the Safely Home program. If you have any questions or you need assistance to fill out the program or fill out the form, you can call us at 708-636-2929. And Commander Art Clark will have his people answering those phones, and we'll be able to help you out. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Does anyone have questions for Chief before he takes off? That is fabulous program, Chief. I appreciate it. Once again, that number to call if you have questions is 708-636-2929. So very helpful, and let's hope we never need that program, Chief, but very nice that you're doing it. Item 7 tonight is the Oak Lawn Electrical Aggregation Program presentation. I'd like to call Mr. Arnie Schramel of Progressive Energy to the podium, and we've met you before at various times here, sir. You've got some news for us.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to go over just a couple things with the village board tonight. First, to answer Larry's question. When the Village of Oak Lawn entered the contract 2 years ago, the price was 5.118 cents per kilowatt hour. Over the 2 years of that program, the average home in Oak Lawn saved roughly $325. The average apartment about $140 over the 2-year term. The aggregate savings for the residents was about $5.1 million over the two years of the program. So it was a very good program. The price differential, however, in the new program has shrunk considerably from the old program. The old program, ComEd's rates were consistently 7 cents or higher, and the residents of Oak Lawn were paying 5.118. So the new program with a new supplier called Mid-American Energy is 7.25. When the board approved that contract, ComEd's rates at that time were 7.43 cents. ComEd has raised their rates. Their current rate is 7.572, and that rate is till June 1st. We don't know what the rate will be after June 1st. We anticipate it's going higher due to a capacity charge increase we know is coming, but we won't know what those rates are till probably late April or May of this year. So a couple other things. When this program launched 2 years ago, about 10% of the residents opted to stay in or stay with ComEd and not go with the Oak Lawn program. That has come down considerably. Almost all of the residents who were sent notifications have now pretty much signed up for the programs. The interesting thing is there are more residents in the program today than 2 years ago. But there's also a lot more residents not using ComEd for tariff service anymore. The big increase was alternative retail electric suppliers, not with the village, but other third parties marketing. And our belief is, Oak Lawn, like many other villages, there are a lot of electric suppliers marketing door to door and aggressively marketing on the phones. And I've taken some of those calls. I know some of the village staff has. Some of those programs are good, but a lot of them are loss leaders too. So we're very apprehensive about recommending those programs. One of the things that has created confusion in the new program is the residents that are currently in the aggregation program are getting 3 letters. They've already received 2 of them. The first letter was on joint Oak Lawn Mid-American letterhead, explaining the village was going to a new supplier and a new program. That letter was pretty well received. The second letter has created unnecessary confusion. Unfortunately, it's currently mandated in the Illinois Commerce Commission code. It was a letter many of your residents received, probably some of the village board, basically saying, Verde Energy, your current electric supplier, is no longer going to be your electric supplier. That letter comes from ComEd. Now, a third letter is coming out, and it should be coming out in February, although a couple residents might have received it already. And that letter is also from ComEd informing them that the new supplier is Mid-American. And also informing the resident, again, if you don't want to participate in the Oak Lawn aggregation program, you can call ComEd or Mid-American and opt out. The nice thing about the Oak Lawn program is there's no monthly charges. It's a real apples-to-apples comparison. And it also lets the residents leave at any time to go back to ComEd or to go to a real-time pricing program or go to another supplier without a fee. So we're hoping the next 2 years, although it's not going to be as big a savings as the previous 2 years, we believe it's still going to be a good program for your residents. And with that, I was going to open it up to any questions for the board.
Mike?
Madam Mayor, just to bring a little more clarity to it, drive it home, the residents don't have to act on anything. They're gonna be getting
Right.
the same services, and they don't have to sign up or.
Right, that's a good point. If the residents are currently in the aggregation program and they do nothing, they'll automatically be rolled with the Mid-American. And again, the billing will still come from ComEd. And if you have any problems with service, ComEd is your first point of contact. Look at your ComEd bill, and that's who you contact for service.
That's the only questions I've got.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Trustee Vorder next. And
Yeah,
then
Arnie, I've
Trustee
got a couple of
Linichuk.
calls from my constituents. They're a little bit confused. And what I tried to explain to them is that the rate we have from Verde was an extremely good rate, and we really enjoyed it for 2 years. But the whole market's changed. And what we did is we researched all the companies, and we as a board felt that Mid-America was the best company and the most competitive company in this current environment. It's going to result in a rate increase for our residents, but that's just a free market, and that's what it is. But it still will be cheaper than if they stay with ComEd. I had to point that out to a couple of my people and clarify it, so I thought I'd use this opportunity to do the same.
You're correct.
Okay.
The rates are, your residents will be paying considerably more starting here in March than they were, but the whole market's gone up considerably from 2 years ago.
Thank you. Trustee Linichuk.
Madam Mayor, hey, Arnie, on the, if a resident still is confused, they want to know 100% if they're in the energy aggregation with the village or not, should we give them your office number?
Yes, have them call us directly.
Which is 630-882-6100?
Yes.
That way you can verify if you are in the village program. And if you have email, it's just www.progressiveenergygroup.com. And if we can get this on our website, because there is some confusion. Am I in? Am I out? I have a special case that you're working on that one other part was in, one other part was out. So
Yeah, that was a very unusual case. But, yeah, your residents, any residents who have any questions, and it doesn't even have to be aggregation related, but anything with electric, they can give Progressive Energy a phone call and we'll try to help them out.
And one of the things I want to compliment you and your company on is there is no if you decide at some point you want to change, there is no change fee with Progressive. There are other energy aggregation companies out there that hit you with basically a surcharge for getting out of the program at any time. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee.
Trustee Quinlan.
Arnie, I don't know if you were part of that email loop when I was talking to Larry about it. because there was so much confusion, and especially with all these multiple letters, I just would like you to make note for 2 years. I'm assuming you'll still be with us in 2 years when the next contract comes up. But there has to be a letter just from the Village of Oak Lawn, you know, very readable, explaining the, you know, what's going on. You're going to be receiving these letters, and you're going to receive a letter from X, Y, and Z, and this is what it's going to say. I think it'll avoid a lot of confusion
Right.
for the next time around.
I believe that second letter that created the confusion saying you're dropping for, I
No,
believe.
both letters were very confusing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I'm just telling you the feedback that I received after the first letter. I received a number of calls, very confused about it. And so if it's not from, you know, especially that first letter was Mid-American, as you said, also the village. This should just be the Village of Oak Lawn and saying, listen, you are going to get a letter from our new supplier, then you're going to get a letter from ComEd, or you're going to get 2 letters from ComEd. And just to reiterate, you know, why this is a good deal for you, you know, and should you decide to do it, you don't have to do anything. I mean, just spell it out in a very simple terms. I think it'll go a long way.
I'll definitely take that.
Okay,
the
thank you.
recommendation.
And you were saying that maybe the rules will change by then, so it won't be so confusing. Just-
Right, and the rules have changed a lot already, but I believe the rules, because they're always talking about how to improve these programs and take confusion out, especially unnecessary confusion. So I believe that those rules for the second letter will change. That third letter informing residents who their no supplier is from ComEd, I don't expect that to change, but we could do a better job informing residents. I agree with you,
Just letting
that
them
they will
know.
be getting another letter from ComEd directly stating
Right.
this.
That would be great. And then, you know, have your phone number there, or even all the trustees' number, you know, if you have any questions, who to call and reach out to.
Right,
But something a little bit simpler.
sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Any
it.
other discussion for Ernie? I just want to thank you personally. You've really worked hard for us, done a great job. Oak Lawn is one of the only communities immediately in the area that doesn't have a monthly fee. City of Chicago, it's $22 a month on top of their, you know, we don't have any fee like that. We don't have that opt-out charge, and we have a great rate and a great representative with wonderful service. You've been so responsive to any question or concern. I just want to thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. So, we're going to move on to item 8. This is approval of meeting minutes for the regular meeting minutes, number 2015-01, dated January 13th, 2015. May I have a motion on item 8, please? Properly moved by trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Let's take the vote, please.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. On item 9 tonight, new business by village trustees. We'll start in District 1. How's it going in District 1, trustee Desmond?
All is good in District 1. I have no new business to report.
Thank you. And District 2, trustee Oliniechek.
I have no new business to report.
Okay, and District 3, trustee Straight.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few brief items, and this evening, I'd like to mention those few items that are of concern to the residents of District 3. The first is potholes that have a tendency to appear around now in alleys and streets in this kind of weather. And in the past, Public Works has always looked into any reports of potholes and the need for repairs and grading, and I would certainly expect that that'll continue in 2015. The next is about reporting of burglaries and crimes. Even if the items that are stolen are small or the vandalism doesn't seem to be major, I'd like to encourage the residents to please report it. Patterns of destruction and theft can only be made and pursued if everyone makes it known and files a report. There's a lot of chatter on social media about crime in Oak Lawn, but the police need to know the facts of what is going on in order to address it. As you know, we have always been a family-friendly town, and we want to keep it that way. The last item is that there are a few people who have contacted me because they still have Christmas trees to dispose of. And if you call Public Works, or you could certainly call probably any of the trustees, they will arrange for a tree to be picked up for you. And any resident with any concern can feel free to call my constituent service office at 422-3600. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And there's a form on the website too if you want to report a problem as well. And that goes right through, so. District 4.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one thing. Those of us that live around Christ Hospital are well aware of the construction. They have been working the past 6 weeks on a major parking tower on the east side of Costner Avenue. They're about 80% done. But in order to finish the project, that large crane that you see out there is going to have to be moved onto Costner Avenue for a few weeks to put the pieces in. Costner will be one-way northbound. So I'm advising residents not to use Costner. Actually, using Costner anytime is pretty complicated because it's primarily the main artery for Christ Hospital. If you have business at Christ, you can get in there, but it will be very complicated over the next 4 weeks. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Very good. So stay away from Costner if at all possible for a few
Well, I do, and I
weeks.
only live a half a block away from it, so.
Thanks. District 5, Trustee Quinlan.
No report?
Thank you. And how's going in District 6,
No,
Trustee?
thank you, Mayor, we're good.
No report. Wow. Okay. Number 10, Village Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Steve, in keeping what we've been doing lately, we're just going to give you a brief visual presentation of some of the projects ongoing throughout the community.
I was probably the only black in my view.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Board.
Hey, can you put up that second slide real quick, Larry? I just want you, that went
Sure.
by kind of quick, and I just want you to get into little detail for residents.
Sure, I appreciate
What
that,
that
Mayor,
is.
and we should have a little bit more time. We intend to enhance this a little bit better to make it more explainable, but it's a pretty dramatic statistic. What it's showing in the village, that is, since 2008, you've had over 500,000 square feet, 500,000 square feet of older properties, dilapidated, commercial structures, were not compliant with code that have been demolished. And since then, that's the middle bar chart, and to the left, that's the amount of new space that's been constructed in that place. So as you can see, you've tripled the square footage that is not only on your tax roll, but a good portion of it does generate new sales tax. And as Brian has shown you in his financial statistics, we're getting to that level where we're climbing out of that recession that we entered into in the 2008-2009 period. Total commercial square footage property is, as you can see in the far right bar chart, close to 5 million square feet. Now that's village-wide. That's a lot of property devoted to commercial activity, which is a good sign. And again, what bond rating companies look for, they look for a community that has a good mixture of commercial and industrial properties to balance the residential segment of the community to offset taxes for residents. Thank you. Mayor, the second item I have under general village managers, just good news to report. We had the unfortunate accident this afternoon at Nashville and 95th Street. Fortunately, there were no injuries, but we had a truck trailer that brought down some power lines in an errant turn movement and snapped 2 power poles. There was a power loss for households in an adjacent condominium apartment complex. I'm pleased to report, due to the fine work with our Oak Lawn Police, Fire, and Public Works and ComEd, there were 6 crews on site, and by evening hour, early dinner hour, portable power was provided to those households through the night. We did have one business that lost power, Texas Corral, but we anticipate, again, that everything will be restored and there were no personal injuries. So good work on the part of all public safety officials. Thank you, Mayor. And as I reported to the board, item 11, which you're going to come to on your agenda, I've recommended that the board respectfully table that until the park board has an opportunity to meet and take action at their meeting on February 9th. And then we would follow on the 10th to approve this lease agreement. Thank you, Mayor.
Is that your whole report, Larry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so item 11 on our agenda is Resolution 150204. This is a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between the Village of Oak Lawn and the Oak Lawn Park District for property commonly located at 4457 Southwest Highway. We have a request to postpone. Properly moved by Trustee Vorder, seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion here? Let's take the vote.
Trustee Carberry? Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes to postpone.
Thank you. Item 7 tonight is a request to approve the recommendation and award custodial services for the 2015-2017 calendar years to EcoClean Maintenance Incorporated of Chicago in the amount of $3,991 per month. May I have a motion on item 12? Properly moved by Trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Quinlan. Any discussion here? Let's take the vote, please.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And 13 tonight is a request for the Board of Trustees to approve and direct the Fire and Police Commission to hire 2 police officers from the current eligibility list due to a retirement and a resignation. May I have a motion, please, on item 13?
Motion approved.
Properly moved by trustee Warder, seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion here? Let's take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Warder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 14 tonight is the village clerk's report. May, Jane, you have the floor.
Sure. Approval of semi-monthly disbursement number 2015-02D dated 1/27/15 in the amount of $766,317.65.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please, on item 14A?
Motion approved.
Properly moved by trustee Warder,
Second.
seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Let's take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Warder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan? Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Just one more thing, Mayor. This upcoming weekend, I'm very proud to say that the Village of Oaklawn will be hosting many Illinois clerks. The Municipal Clerks of Illinois' Winter Conference is here at the Oaklawn Hilton, and the clerks will start arriving Thursday afternoon, and most of them will depart on Saturday. So if anybody runs into a municipal clerk, please give them a good Oaklawn friendly welcome. And you'll see us out at the different area restaurants and in the meeting rooms at the Hilton. So I think it's the first time Oaklawn's ever hosted this, so I'm very happy. They're coming from all over, north, south, east, west, so it's a great thing. Thank you.
Very good, and I want to thank you for any part you had in getting them to
It's all right.
shop Oak Lawn. That's
I
great.
worked hard to get them here. I said I wanted here, and the Hilton was wonderful working
good.
with us, so
Very
it's
good.
good.
Thank you. Anything else, Jane?
That's it.
Okay. Item 15 tonight is the village president's report. 15A is a request to approve a Class EV, E like Edward, V like Victor, liquor license for Lawler's Tap at 9611 Southwest Highway in District 3. May I have a motion, please, on item 15A?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by trustee Warder,
Second.
seconded by trustee Desmond. Any discussion here?
Just if I could get a clarification on the classification, if I see there's a name change, right? There's a name change, and is there any kind of,
It's an entirely new liquor
Oh, it is?
license.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, could I get some information on the classification, the EV?
So EV liquor license,
It is a change from what's there now. I don't have the EV classification in front of me, but it is a change for the operation that's here now. I think it will be liquor and beer, right?
The petitioner's here.
Those
Right
are-
out here.
yeah.
No worries.
Hi. Would you like to come to the podium and please state your name and if you're an Oak Lawn resident? Thank you.
Well, it's class 4, right?
Okay. Okay.
I asked Pat about it, though, and we asked about that, and he said it would keep it EV, so.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Liquor package, orchestra, live entertainment, dancing.
Okay, say that one more time, please.
Class EV license, liquor package, orchestra, live entertainment, and dancing. Shall authorize the retail sale on specified premises of an alcoholic liquor for consumption on said premises, and the retail sale of alcoholic liquor in the original package, not for consumption on the premises, were sold. No alcohol liquor shall be sold, given away, or offered for sale in or about the specified premises for license between the hours of 2 o'clock a.m. and 7 o'clock a.m. on weekdays, 2 o'clock a.m. and 9 o'clock a.m. on Sundays. Video gaming as defined under the Illinois Video Gaming Act, 230 ILCS 40/4 et al. Shall be authorized so long as the business, so long as the licensee also has a video gaming license issued by the Illinois Gaming Board in accordance with the provisions of the Illinois Video Gaming Act, and all rules, regulations, and restrictions imposed by the Illinois Gaming Board, and the operation of the video gaming terminal shall not be permitted during the hours alcohol sales are prohibited.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Could the petitioner address
Sure. Sure, so you're a new business opening up?
My name is
in-
John Lawler. I am an Oak Lawn resident, yes. And yeah, I'm just taking over ownership of the existing. The dancing thing really was just, she asked me if it was an option, if I would like to have, yes. But I'm not by no means trying to like throw a dance party in there. I just want to keep it how it was, a nice hole in the wall bar, and that's all. I'm just taking over ownership and running it how it has been.
Okay,
No crazy changes or anything.
okay, will you serve food there?
I understand that there is a kitchen, but there isn't one. But I'm talking to Deanne, she said that on the license I could have that option, so I just vouched to go for it. But I don't plan on it right away, no.
Okay, so you're not taking over PD's place, PD's is gonna relocate, is
Right.
that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
Audrey
when you
Brandt-
say you're going in and redoing, it's not the same business?
Right, yes. No, it's not the same
Okay.
business, but the bar is staying how it is, like nothing, no crazy change or anything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Trustee Desmond?
Yeah, but I guess this is a question for our attorney. So, is there a difference between Class 4 and Class EV? I mean, if there's no change, why are we changing the liquor classification? If there's no change in the business.
The,
It's a typo.
Well, on the
there is
well,
a
it's
difference
not
between a
because
class four and
on the
EV,
actual
right?
on the
I asked about it, Brian.
What we were told from the Daisy Act was that they wanted an EV license, which will increase to 5, and the number of class 4 license will decrease to 15. PD's held a class 4 license, but there's no restaurant or kitchen facility at this location. So I think the 4 has the kitchen part of it, and the class EV does not, and he doesn't have a kitchen, right?
There's one, it's metered
be
for a
operated.
kitchen.
Right.
It's just not existing. There isn't a stove in there or anything,
So,
no.
I think this is a new liquor license, so the person that's there will no longer be there. He's a new business with a new lease with the building, which is attached to the packet that
Right,
he signed.
right.
And he's coming in asking for a new liquor license
Right.
to go into business there.
okay, but I'm still a little confused as what is the difference between? Is it a typo? I don't think it is. What is the difference between the two licenses?
The main difference is I think there's no restaurant or kitchen facility at this
Right.
location, right?
It's the option to have food, I believe,
Right, that's the main difference.
which I can do with
And
or
right now,
without.
under his license, he won't be able to have food.
Right.
Okay, so
That's the main difference.
Wait, he won't, I thought he was going
He
to.
said he was gonna look at the option, but right now there is no operational
Right.
kitchen.
Nothing in EV. I thought EV had the
So EV
restaurant.
was liquor, package, orchestra, live entertainment, and dancing.
No food.
But
No
there's,
food.
but no food, there's no
Okay.
food here.
Class 4 is food.
That's for his food.
Okay,
So if he wants to add food, he has to come back
so
before
that's the
board.
difference, Tim. The food, I guess.
Because food would require me to do an ANSEL system and a fire suppression, and so I wanted to stay away from that as of right now.
Okay,
That was all.
okay.
So he can sell popcorn and chips and peanuts and those kind of things, right?
Right.
Just not cook meals?
I can't have a deep fryer there
Yeah,
putting wings
okay.
out or nothing.
Okay,
so an EV license means he can serve food, and
no.
No,
No.
food,
no
no kitchen.
food.
No kitchen.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, let's call the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit? Trustee Quinlan?
Yes,
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Congratulations. Okay, item 15B is ordinance 150208. This is an ordinance increasing the number of Class E like Edward, V like Victor, and decreasing the number of 4 IV, Roman numeral IV, liquor licenses that can be issued in the village. This is for Lawler's Tap, 9611 Southwest Highway. May I have a motion, please, on 15B?
motion approved.
Properly moved by trustee Quinlan,
Second.
seconded by trustee Warder. Any discussion? Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yes. Any discussion? Let's take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Okay. 15C, committee and commission appointments. I'd like any resident who is interested in volunteering for any of these committees or commissions, please let me know. We'd like to get your name, and many of these now have expired terms, so we need to start replacing these, so please let me know. And then general village matters. I just want to say this is a nice short meeting, and I like it.
2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row. So we have item 16, I'm sorry, yes, 16 on our agenda, a motion to adjourn. May I have a motion,
So moved.
please? Properly moved by trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by trustee Desmond. Any discussion? And all in favor, please?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Hey, Carol, what's going on with the food store on 103rd Street?
I can go up the clerk, right?
Food store, 103rd.
Yeah, in the shopping center.